Alright, here we have our Topic 8 practice test. We're going to look at number 1. Look at the following area model right here, area 1. So look at the following area model. What multiplication sentence does it represent? Well, you need to look at these two areas. So let's look at 20 and 7. Well, 20 plus 7 is 27. And then up here at the top we've got 10 plus 5, and that is 15. So we have 27 times 15. Now what we need to do is just find what that equals to give us our multiplication sentence. Well, over here in our array, our area model, we know that 20 times 10 is 200. 20 times 5 is 100. 7 times 10 is 70, and 7 times 5 is 35. And when you add all of those up together, you end up with 405. So your multiplication sentence is that. Okay, let's go ahead and look at number 2. I'm going to have you pause the video and you can go ahead and read the question. So go ahead and pause. Alright, now that you've paused, let's take a look at what it's asking. It's actually asking us which is missing from the table. Well, that would be this question mark. So we would have to do our 40 times 30. That would be 40 times 30. And that gives us, well, 4 times 3 is 12, tack on 2 zeros, 1,200. So 1,200 is missing from the table. Alright, so number 3, go ahead and pause the video to read the question. Alright, now that you've read the question, we need to do 80, because there's 80 envelopes in a box, and we're looking for 20 boxes. 8 times 2 is 16, and then we need to tack on our 2 zeros for our shortcut. So we would say there are 1,600 envelopes in 20 boxes. Sorry for the sloppy writing, the iPad is hard to write on. Alright, now let's go down to the other number 3. Sorry for the confusion there. So we're looking down at number 3 here. What product does this array show? So we're looking for the final product. So what we need to do is we need to now say, well, what is 6 times 30? And that would give us 180. This gives us 300. That gives us 80. And that gives us 48. Now we just need to add up all of our partial products. To come up with an answer. We come up with 8. $608. Now we're looking at number 5. What we need to do is we need to come up with a multiplication problem. And what we have here is we need to look here and here. So we've got 20 and 8. So add those together and you have 28. And then up here you have 70 plus 4, and that would give you 74. So her multiplication problem was 28 times 74. Moving on to number 6. What is 26 times 47? Most of the work is already done for you, so all you have to do is add up your partial products. and you would come up with 1,222. Alright, now we're looking at the next page. So let's go ahead and go to number 7. We need to use partial products. So we have 40 times 78. So you have to do your 8 times 0, which is 0. 8 times 4, that's actually a 40 because it's in the tens place. So 8 times 4, or 8 times 40 is 320. Done with the 8. 70 times 0 is 0. And then 70 times 40, right here, 70 times 40, because those are in the tens place, and that is 2,800. So then we just have to add those all together, and you come up with 3,120. Alright, moving on to number 8. Go ahead and pause to read the question. So now what we need to do is we need to multiply for cat. We need to multiply 18 times 40. There are multiple ways you could do this. I'm just going to show you the shortcut way, which would be that we know that the 40, we're just going to bring down our 0 and then multiply as if it was a 1-digit times 2-digit. So we would have then 4 times 8, which is 32. Carry our 3. 4 times 1, which is 4, plus 3 is 7. So she would run, cat would run 720 miles in 40 weeks. Alright, moving on. Number 9, multiply 36 times 17. Show your work with an exclamation mark, which means you should probably show your work, I would assume. Alright, so let's break up that 36. 36 we would break up into 30 plus 6, and then 17 we would break up into 10 plus 7. So what we need to do now is we need to take our 30 plus 6, and we need to mark it down as 30 and 6, because that's the first number, which means it has to go on the left side. So then the second number, 17, is going to go on the right side. So that would be the 10 and the 7. So now we just need to multiply and finish up our arrays. Now we have our partial products, so now we just have to add them all together. And you come up with 36 times 17 is 612. Alright, let's move on to Mrs. Brown here. You can go ahead and pause the video to read the question. Now that you've read the question, we have 12 pieces of candy inside each bag, and she has 18 bags. So that would mean that we have to do 18 times 12. Well, we need to then break apart that 18 into 10 plus 8, and then we're going to break apart that 12 into 10 and 2. So we're just kind of expanding them out like an expanded form. Now what we have to do is we just have to finish up by finishing our array. And then again, just as a quick reminder, how I got 100 is 10 times 10. And then how I came up with 80 was 8 times 10. And how I got 20 was 10 times 20. And how I came up with 16 was 8 times 2. Now I have to add all of those up. and you come up with 216. So how many total pieces of candy are there? There are 216 pieces of candy. Alright, number 11, go ahead and pause the video to read the question. As you can see, this question has two questions. The first one underlined in blue, that should say how many drinking glasses did Terry buy, and the second question in green, how much did Terry spend? Well, let's answer the first question in blue. So we need to answer how many drinking glasses did Terry buy. Well, we know that that he bought 30 boxes, and in each box there were 15. So that would be 30 piles of 15, 30 equal piles, so we would just multiply. I'm just going to show the standard algorithm. So, he bought 450 drinking glasses. We answered the first question. Now we need to answer the second question. How much did Terry spend? Well, we know he bought 450 glasses. Well, how much did each one cost? They cost $4. So, then we just have to multiply. Well, if it's asking how much he spent, we know that we need to do money here. And that's why it's in green. Let's just multiply. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry your 2. 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 2 is 18. So we come up with 1,800. So Terry spent $1,800. Now we're at number 12. Go ahead and pause to read the question. So we need to answer the question, how many students can the cafeteria seat each day? Well, if there are 322 tables, each table seats 6, so that's 6 equal piles. So let's multiply. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 2 again is 12, but plus 1 is 13. And then 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19. So the cafeteria can seat 1,932 people in each lunch period. But remember, there's 3 lunch periods. So we still need to multiply that by 3. So 1,932 times 3. So you can go ahead and multiply that. And you come up with 5,796. So the cafeteria can seat 5,796 students each day. Alright, number 13. You can go ahead and pause and read the question. Alright, there's some important information. Now let's go ahead and answer that green question there. How much does the mother manatee weigh? So we have 55. Whoops, let's move that down a little bit. 55 times 15, because it's 15 times as much. So I'm just going to show you the standard algorithm. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 2 is 27. We're done with those. Carry down your 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 5 is 5. Add up your two partial products. 5, 6, 7, 8. 825. So the mother manatee weighs 825 pounds. All right, number 14, go ahead and pause to read the question. I've underlined some important information. What we need to do here is how much did the microscopes cost in all. They bought 32. Each one was $76. And all you have to do is multiply. Oops. $2,432, and then again, give me a good sentence. The microscopes cost $2,432. Done. Now we're on number 15. We need to multiply 23 times 16. This is when you need to draw your array. This is when we were having some issues. What you need to do is you need to make sure that your array is actually the size of the squares. So you do need to make it 23 down. So I'm going to show you that it should be 23 boxes down and 16 boxes across. I don't want to see students using the entire box and breaking it up, because that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the boxes to be the exact size of the array. So I'm going to show you here in a second. Alright, I know it's a little sloppy, but we do know that this entire length on the side is 23, and now the entire side, the entire length here is 16. So we need to break up again the 23 and the 16. Again, we will break up 23 into 20 plus 3, so this will be 20, and then we'll break up here we have 3, and then 16 we need to break that up into 10 and 6, so we'll break that up into 1, 2, into 6, and then we have 10 and 6. So now we just have to multiply and find the insides of your array. Now that you have found the insides of your array, go ahead and add all of those up. So you have 200, that's 200, plus 120, plus 30, plus 18, because those are all of your partial products, but you need to find the product. So then you come up with 368. So your answer, after modeling with this array or the area model, you get 368. Alright, number 16 is done the same way as number 15, except the only difference is when you have 30 down and 26 across, you don't have to break up that 30. 26 you're breaking up into 20 plus 6, your 10's in your 1's place, but 30 has 0 in the 1's place, so you're not really breaking it up, because you could break it up into 30 plus 0, but why do that when you can just keep it at 30? So when you have your array coming down, this entire side length is going to be 30, and you will not have a line coming across this way. So just a second. Alright, so here it shows your 30 being on this side. You don't have to break that 30 apart, just keep it at 30, and then you have your 26 going across the bottom, so let's break that up into 20 plus 6. And now you have your array, and now all you have to do is multiply what you've got here. So 30 times 20 is 600, and then 30 times 6 is 180. So just add those two together, and you should get 780 as your product. Alright, now we're looking at number 17. Just need to show you the algorithm. So you've got 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 2 is 2, we're done with the 1, carry your 0. 3 times 5 is 15, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Add together 775. 18. You've got 7 times 8 is 56, carry your 5. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 5 is 33. Bring that 0 down as your placeholder. You've got 5 times 8 is 40, 4, carry the 4. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 4 is 24. You have two partial products here. Add them together. You get 2,736. Next, 69 times 26. 9 times 6 is 54. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 5 is 41. We're done with those. 0 placeholder. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Add your two partial products. 4, 9, 7, 1. 1,794. And last but not least, 83 times 30. Well, the 0 times 3 is 0, 0 times 8 is 0. So why don't we just leave that place value there as 0. We're done. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 8 is 24. 2,490.